Hi.
Hello.
So we wanted to jump on here today. Scott and I did. And funny because we didn't know when we planned this that today was our 3-year friendversary here on Facebook.
That's so sweet. How did they know we're friends?
They're inside
I'm
our
joking.
lives. So we wanted to jump on here today and talk about something. You know, Scott and I each have our own individual businesses, but we have been working together for a little while now, doing some house clearings, and we have come up with a new service that we wanted to share with y'all, and just to share some observations about what we have seen as far as, you know, what is going on in the homes that we've cleared and homes that we've worked with, as well as the people who live in them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So do you want to start, honey?
Well, we have a new service that is called family harmonizing. So our standard service is called home harmonizing, and that would be considered like a home clearing.
Mm-hmm.
But with family harmonizing, we actually take the couple or two adults who are heads of the household, and we give them a reading before we clear their house. So by doing that, if it was you, we would find out what's going on with you, what kind of energy you have, and then we do a home clearing, and then we relate those two together because they are directly related.
Yes. So something that we've really noticed is that the energy. So the energy of your home does match your energy, no matter what. Even if it seems it's a trick question. Yeah. Even if it seems like it's not congruent, or if it seems like, well, my house is this way and I'm this way, there's something within you, and it may not always be on the surface. That's why it's really helpful to have a reading about it, because it may be something that is actually happening, you know, below the surface. It's an energetic attraction. It's a frequency that's matching that might be attracting things into your life that you don't really want in your life.
Right. Does your home make you angry, or did you make your home angry?
Right, exactly. And that is sort of the question, and how those things interplay with one another. So a lot of the time when we do a house clearing, I mean, we've certainly dealt with a lot of earthbound spirits and some pretty nasty entities and things like that. But a lot of what we deal with is residual energy. And residual energy, yeah, most of it. And residual energy can come from people who lived there in the past. So it could be residual energy that is...
Or someone that just stayed for a night even. That could happen as
somebody
well.
Who stayed for a night.
Before.
Yep. But it could be somebody from 100 years ago. And it could be somebody who came and visited you. It could be from your mother-in-law, from your friend, from your child's friend. And
in fact, a lot of residual energy is blamed for ghosts. A lot of people say, we think we have a ghost in our house or whatever, and we find it's really just very strong residual energy, which is nothing to mess with. I mean,
sometimes it can be really powerful.
Yeah, it can be bad. One episode, which I wrote about, called The Anxiety Room, the room was so full of anxiety, it just like triggered me. It pushed my buttons, and I was so anxious that Janet had to do the job herself on that room because I couldn't even go upstairs. I had to go downstairs. So residual energy is really serious. You're adding it constantly to your house, and others who come in are adding to your house.
Yep. And so as you move into a house, and unless you have a brand new house, there were people who were living in it before. And here in Atlanta, where we are, there are so many homes too that are, I mean, our house is 100 years old. And there are just so many homes that are around that age or older. And these homes often have the residual energy, and it shows up as imprints. So sometimes it might be just a feeling or a sensation, like what Scott was experiencing with the anxiety. And that anxiety was really strong too. Scott has more of a history with anxiety, so it matched him more powerfully. And that's why it was so overwhelming for him.
Right. It just like pushed my buttons, and that could happen to some of you. If you have a particular room that makes you feel a certain way and very strongly, it might be something from you, it's something from you that is matching the energy of the room.
Right. So no matter what, if you move into a house that has this going on, there's something within you that is a match to that, because everything works with the law of attraction, works in vibrational matching. So you could, though, be in this house. Maybe it's not as pronounced as it was what we noticed in this one room. And in fact, you may not be even as sensitive to it as we are. But if you're empathic, or you are highly sensitive, you will notice something. And it might be so subtle that you don't even recognize what you're noticing, except for maybe that room is the room where you end up putting your office, and you're in your office doing your work, and you're like starting to feel anxious all the time because you don't know why you're feeling anxious all the time. You equate it to your work or what's going on or money or whatever, but actually the anxiety may have stemmed from being in this room where the energy of anxiety was so heavily imprinted.
And then the vicious cycle starts where you're feeling anxious, or you're feeling, what emotion did you say it had? Or did you not give one yet? But let's say it's anger, because that happens often. So you get angry, the roommate pushes your anger button, and you get angry easily, or distressed about work, and then you're adding to it. So I often look at it too, is like painting. It's like you're painting a certain color in that room. So you're painting anger in that room, and you just keep painting anger in that room. Yeah. Something's got to give at some point. So what we do is we come in, and we will clear the room, clear the whole home, and we will tell you, okay, did you notice that you've got some anger issues that are coming up in your reading, perhaps? You have anger issues, and then you're saying you're getting angry in that room. And when we went into that room, that office room, we really felt the anger, so we understand, and maybe we'll pick up that there is an entity there, but usually it's not. Usually it's just residual energy. It's nothing scary, but it's just the truth of the way things work. Is that I always use the example of you enter an office, and two people leave, and you know they just had an argument. It's just you can feel it in the room. Probably as I say this, you can imagine that you feel the anger in the room. They just painted that thing. They just had they're out painting up and down, and then they walked out, and you're like, oh, it's a new color. What a wonderful color of anger. So this is real stuff. It's just as sure as anything.
Yeah, we were doing an interview with some friends of ours several months back, and we were talking about this. And what occurred to me during that interview is that we actually have an expression in English, which is clear the air, right? We want to clear the air after an argument, but most of us never grew up knowing that there were ways to do that or tools to do that, right? So what happens is then the air actually isn't cleared, and that energy of the anxiety or the anger will just sit there. So we did a house not too long ago where there was an energetic imprint of a woman who was very, very angry, and a couple had just moved in there, and the woman who was living there, she's saying, I'm just feeling angry, I'm feeling some anxiousness, and da-da-da. We were doing the room or the hallway, and I started getting really irritable, and I started snapping at you. Do you remember that?
I'm trying to remember which house this was. I know. Give me more hints. Keep saying the story. I'll remember.
I can't give any hints, but so it was.
Oh yeah. You were acting very unusual.
I was being very unusual. I was being very short with him. Yeah, he was getting on my nerves, and
so it's just like the anxiety room affected me, because I've dealt with anxiety before. The anger happened to be the right little chemistry to get Janet going.
Well, it was a woman who
was feminine energy.
It was feminine energy, and so, but I realized what was going on, and I was like, oh, okay, we've got some residual energy here. And as soon as we cleared it, I felt fine again. So it's sometimes, even we do this. This is what we do for a living, and still sometimes we might even just catch ourselves in the moment going, what is going on? Why am I behaving this way? Yeah. And then recognize that it's due to the residual energy.
Yeah, and so if we're aware of we're going in a house with our antenna out, you can imagine if you live in a house and a house is producing that kind of energy and pushing someone, it's going to affect you. It's going to affect you a lot. But it's great. What we really like doing is going in and helping bring this all together for people to understand that, this is the real energy of your home, and this is what's going on with you too also. And put it all together, and you have a chance to kind of get a clean slate. That's what we look at it as, like creating creating harmony in your home. But it's up to you to do the internal work, to work on your energy so that you're not adding negative residual energy. But everyone has arguments, but we explain how to clear things. And then we also, the rooms that you're dealing with now have a clean slate. They have clear, loving energy in them. So you can start kind of from scratch. and start back over again.
Yeah, exactly. So something that happens a lot is, again, that people don't really recognize what's going on within them, or maybe they don't realize that just because they're not outwardly arguing, right? Maybe they're not having verbal arguments, but that doesn't mean that there isn't repressed anger or that there isn't depression in the home. Like somebody could be depressed in the home. There are plenty of rooms that we've gone into where you can just feel the heaviness of depression in it. There's a lot of correlations here to addiction as well. So if somebody in your house is dealing with any sort of addiction, that could be alcohol, drugs, but it could be other types of addiction as well. There's going to be a thick and heavy energy in there. And then anytime that you go into that space, if you have a propensity towards that, then that could happen too. I know there's one house that I know of where the people who had lived there before the person I knew had both of them had alcohol addictions, and one of them had a cocaine addiction. The next couple moves in, not knowing anything about it, and during the time that they lived there, they ended up falling deep into addiction themselves. Ultimately ended up, the couple before them got divorced, then they ended up getting divorced, and the energy there was still holding all of that. Now, if you are aware that this is happening, of course, the second couple that moved in, they weren't aware of this, but they still had a vibrational attraction to that energy. So we find that we tend to land in places where the energy is similar. If you've done all your work and you're living like a really happy, healthy, vibrant life, then you're going to choose a home that is the same.
You wouldn't choose that home. And exactly. if a room does not match your vibration at all, you're not into that, you're not into anger, but that room has that, you'll find that'll be the room we'll go to where everyone seems fine, but they don't go and mess with this one room. And there's always a reason why. It's a valid reason that energetically does not match them. So they go and they're like, ugh. So that's the one that they store everything in every time, right?
We've seen that happen so much where there's like a room just full of stuff, and it's the people that they just don't go in there, or the door stays closed. But the thing is that you can, there's a lot of things that you can do on your own, but sometimes it needs to go a little deeper, and that's where people like me and Scott come in, because we're able to psychically see. We're both psychic mediums. We're able to see if there are, in fact, earthbound spirits there. We're able to tune into, we're both highly empathic, highly sensitive, so we can tune into your energy, see what's going on with you, see what's going on with your partner, see what's happening with your children, your pets.
Your pets, I was about to say, the one where we had the sad ghost in the basement and the dog went down there. It was really cool because we cleared the ghost. It was the ghost of what appeared to be a very effeminate gay man downstairs, and we cleared him, and it was really a wonderful experience. Like, he was a really loving person. And
who had been very misunderstood during his lifetime.
So
right, exactly. So he was living in a time when it wasn't acceptable to be who he was.
But we cleared it, and then we brought the dog down at the end, and I felt the energy of the dog. I'm like, whoa, did we clear this or not? Because the dog was so anxious going down, but then he got downstairs and he was fine with it. But he was so affected by that. Oh my gosh, he was. Dogs are so empathic. They are definitely affected by residual energy, your energy more than anything else, and ghosts too, spirits. Earthbound spirits is what we call them. Yeah.
So, and then the other thing that could be impacting it too is the land that the home is sitting on. And that can also bring in, so if something happened on your land, again, we see this all the time in Atlanta and in Georgia at large. We've done a lot of this work in rural Georgia, is that we're working, I know.
We saw, thanks,
Matt. Matt is making us laugh.
He's going to buy a truckload of sage and have us come out. All right.
Sage bonfire time. So there's a lot of imprints of war, right? The Civil War happened over a lot of the land here in Atlanta, and the energy of that really does seep into the structures that are built on it. And so even before I knew about certain areas in Atlanta that had battles fought on them, I would avoid those areas, or every time I was there I would feel so gross, just like heavy and dense and blah, and I didn't really understand why. I didn't really tune into it too much. I just knew that the energy was bad and I didn't like it. And then I started really kind of tuning in and getting like, okay, wait, there's more going on here. And this was before I started doing this service. This was several years ago, before I even started doing house clearings or anything. And at some point along that time, I found out that there was a battle fought there, and it was so illuminating for me, because in this one particular area I'm thinking of is an area where there are a lot of boarded up houses, where there is a high percentage of drug addiction, where there's a lot of child prostitution, and all of a sudden I was like, no wonder there was so much death here. And it really exists. It exists in the land. It exists in the structures that have been built on the land. And so this is something that will impact the people who move into those homes. So again, though,
but we've cleared many. That's fine.
Yeah,
so
you can
not to
clear
scare
it.
everyone about
Yeah.
like in Atlanta, chances that you've been near a war are very high, or near a battle are pretty high. But it can be taken care of. You know, we've found soldiers, just like this loop of soldiers marching back and forth at someone's house before, and we've done a lot of homes were used as field hospitals, just, you know, because it's like they bring everyone to one certain place, because the nearest hospital is a horse ride away. So that happened a lot, but it doesn't mean it can't be cleared and taken care of, and that you can't have a loving house, because you can have a loving house that's still been near the battlefield.
Absolutely. And what might happen too, and I'm thinking of a particular couple I know that moved into a house when they were a vibrational match to that house, and then they started doing a lot of work, and they stopped being a vibrational match for that house. And as they stopped to being a vibrational match for that house, they started really noticing the energy of the house and noticing how the energy of the house impacted them. And at the moment, they're not able to move, but there is, and so there's this interplay of them really taking care of the energy, knowing they have to stay on top of it, really recognizing that maybe in some cases it can be completely cleared, and in some cases there's like areas that are like reservoirs for it. And so the energy will kind of move to that place, just as if, you know, water were running downstream and then getting stuck there. So most of the time it can be cleared. A lot of the time it can be kept up with, but a lot of times it takes going deeper than what you can do on your own with a sage wand.
Yeah, and so someone did ask about remote. Right now, the only thing we do remote, it's actually not on our website, is people can send us photos of houses they're thinking of buying, and we will give you our impression of them. We do that that's quite.
And I have done remote clearings before. That's something that I've done before.
But we're not offering that currently. Yeah. So we like to go. Our thing to do that we really enjoy doing is reading people and helping them with the house, kind of bringing it all together. And at first we would just come to someone's house and clear and then explain things. Then we realized we want to be able to take it one step further, and that's what the family harmonizing is to actually give a reading so you can understand what is how does the couple and the home fit together energetically, what's going on there. So if you want someone to clear your home, you've reached some sort of impasse where you're saying, I'm no longer a match to this, and I need someone to come help me with it. You can take care of it yourself. You have to believe that you can do it. We're totally for people taking care of their own thing, but if not, that's when you come to us.
Right, and also recognizing that, you know, a lot of times this happens because somebody has unresolved trauma, unresolved repressed emotions. There could be a healing aspect to this that needs to take place. There was one girl who reached out to us, and we didn't actually end up clearing her home, but you know, the reason that she was in this space where there was some pretty like gnarly stuff going on was because she had a lot of unresolved trauma, and that was also indicative of her not being ready to actually shift the energy, was because she wasn't ready to do her healing work. So really recognizing too what is going on within me, and sometimes we can get that answer for ourselves, like that is definitely possible, but sometimes it is really helpful to have somebody else who can see through our blind spots, right? Because we have a lot of defenses that we've put up that that keep us from seeing the things that we need to heal.
Right.
So I think that's it. Is that it?
So, yeah.
My voice just got really high.
Yeah, I think that's it. My voice doesn't do that.
Hey, Megan.
So we have a website, and it's lifeandhomeharmony.com. Is that right? Yes.
That's it?
Spelled out lifeandhomeharmony.com. So check it out.
And we have a Facebook business
Facebook,
page
yes,
and an
check that out,
Instagram
too.
account. And they're both Life and Home Harmony. And we'll be sharing like things that you can do to recognize what's going on in your home. We'll be sharing ways that you can work with the energy yourself, how you can tune into different things. So lots of tips and tools. And Scott also...
And I'm adding music. Is that what you're going to say?
And Scott's
And
adding music.
I'm adding music to either a sound bowl or drums or maybe both. I don't know. But I'm a musician, and it just finally occurred to me I've not been using sound for clearing, and that would just be joyous. So
Yes.
So if you do invite us into your home, it might be loud. We'll see.
But it'll be cool. Yes. Thanks, Janet. Maddie, I will never leave you.
Don't leave us. Are you planning on going somewhere? I don't know.
No.
Are you ascending soon?
No.
Just checking.
Not not in the near future. So yeah, we would love just to connect with y'all more and to share more about what we're doing with you guys, and that's a good way to do it. So, and if you have any questions, if something comes up where you have a question about your home or something you've noticed about energy or anything like that, feel free to put it in the comments here, and we'll
check them out and answer
them out. Yes, and thank you all so much. Much love to you, Ashley, too. I haven't seen you in a while. I'm sending you a hug. Y'all take care. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.